What do we want?
White power.
Let us hear it. What do we want?
White power.
What do we want?
White power.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
White power.
When do we want it?
Now.
So, giving you the chance to say why there's so much stuff friendly to the Fuhrer.
Well, that's just something that we put in our newspaper. People have problems with it. I mean, I don't want to stick to the issue of Hitler all
put it
night
like
long.
this. I mean, I've noticed this. Some people say that the Holocaust didn't take place. Others say it did, and a jolly good thing too. Do you have a line on either of those propositions?
I believe in might is right. That's something that is used against me, you, people that are politically incorrect.
Sorry to recall you to the question, but
I don't believe in wholesale extermination of people. I believe in distancing myself from them. Now, when you have your house sold from you, from a civil suit that was fraudulent from day one...
To recall you to the question, do you think there was or was not an attempt to exterminate European Jewry?
I don't care. Jews don't care about me, so why should I care about them?
No, you wouldn't have to care about Jews necessarily to answer the question, would you? I mean, either there was or was not an attempt at a final solution of the Jewish question.
I could care less.
And either that would or would not, we could get to it, be a good thing. But I was just wanting to let you clarify.
I set my sights higher. I could care less if it did happen, didn't happen. It's just a historical... It's 50 years ago. Gee whiz, we're almost in the year 2000. I mean, where does this ethnocentrism
Well, we had a
come
president
along?
who said it hadn't happened in the lifetime of anyone he knew. But I'm sure you wouldn't want to be confused with Ronald Reagan at Bitburg, would you?
No.
Well, then, why don't you just come right out with it?
See, the
question
problem
is a simple one. It either happened or it didn't. You can say yes or no. And you either can then say good or bad thing. But you seem... I can't understand why someone who runs a brave outfit called War would be ducking a question as obvious as that. How can we get on with it?
That's a subjective word. The problem is, with interviewers like you, is I'm not answering it the way you want.
No, you can say what you like. You have time.
I told you, I could care less.
Now, I understood your organization said that David Duke was a hypocrite and a wimp for entering the political process in the way that he's done.
Well, Duke has thoroughly disassociated himself with people like ourselves. And he is a politician. He is not a racist. I want to put everybody at ease. He will be a nice politician, a New World Order, politically correct politician.
The reason I ask is because I have just the faint suspicion that you're trying to put a nicer face on your politics, or a more agreeable face, shall I say, than I can read from on the table in front of me.
Oh, you mean concerning the Duke?
You sound really no. I mean, I wanted the association to spur you, if possible. You say that he's a wimp, he covers up his real politics, he's given up on real racism, but for you, Hitler's an academic subject, yet your stuff is full of pro-Hitler incitement. Are you not just trying to get away with something here?
The problem I have is an interview who drones on and on about 50 years ago. I think there's something...
I wouldn't drone if you'd answer the question. You either believe there was an attempt at a final extermination of European Jewry,
I've made my
or there was
clear.
not. You never said...
There's a lot of discrepancies and I can care less.
Okay, so you don't care. In other words, so if you were told it was true, you wouldn't say the person saying so was a liar and a prisoner of Jewish propaganda.
I doubt...
You're not even a Holocaust revisionist.
Well, history is not history anymore. It's by special lobbyist groups that come in and try to knock each other to get certain ideas in. So the fact that they spend so much time on the issue is questionable in itself.
Will you allow me to abuse my privilege and say I'm a bit disappointed? I was kind of looking forward to this, and now you're disappointing me. You don't seem to have the cowardice of your convictions, or courage is perhaps the word I mean.
Let's set the sights
Look, we've got your
higher.
father on the line who's said to be a real tough guy. Mr. Metzger Sr., can we get you in with us?
Yeah, sure, very clever.
How do you think the boy's shaping up?
Well, you're a very clever interrogator, sort of a second-best Bill Buckley, but you're trying. I mean, you
certainly know how to hurt a guy, I'll say that for a start. I was wondering how you thought the boy was doing.
Hitler. I mean, is there anything else in the world besides Jews to talk about?
As I said to your firstborn, if that's what he is, anyway, your son, Mr. Metzger, it's a question that need only be asked once, as long as it's answered. Would you accept that as fair?
But what question is this?
If you force me to restate it, you can't complain it keeps coming up, can you? I want to know, since your organization simultaneously says the Holocaust is a myth, but appears to support those who think it was a jolly good thing, which of those two things you think yourself?
Well, what we have said is an exaggerated, the figures are exaggerated, and the facts are showing that to be true as each year passes by. But our concern is with the third world invasion of this nation that's robbing and stripping the Euro-American of everything he's got.
But you say that the Jews, you say the Jews are behind all that, don't you?
All your time talking about something that happened 50 years ago.
I don't think I need to waste.
I don't care what happened to the Jews. You want to put that down at print?
That's fair enough.
Don't care what happened to the Jews.
I think I now don't need to take up any more of your time. But it took a long time. My responsibility, you see, is to the viewers.
I
think they want to know what you think. I think they probably can now. I think they can probably now guess. But I don't think that was the bravest answer you could give. I thought you were a white Aryan resistor who didn't care for anybody. I also thought I understood you clearly to say in your paper that the Jews are behind all this immigration and race mixing. Do you think that or don't you?
No, our number one enemy, and if you'll read our paper, perhaps you don't have the intellect to do anything but read cartoons and advertisements.
Come.
But you'll find that our number one enemy are white Aryans like us who have sold out their race for greed and power and teamed up with the transnational corporations to fleece us all.
Right, so you don't...
And Jews are definitely a very strong part of this.
Right, yes.
As they always have been.
For example, if I can quote you, we hate the fact that we have in this country abortion, which is open genocide against the white race, to murder thousands of white babies at the hands of mostly Jewish doctors. I'm quoting from one of your recent broadcasts. You have time or inclination to say how you know Jewish doctors are organizing genocide against white babies?
I know that because the AMA refuses to release the list of doctors performing abortions in this country, but they have leaked out a lot of these lists, and it will prove that Jews are disproportionately involved in abortion.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait till we get the figures, but
why is the AMA
at least you were
so
brave not to wait for that. What does the word mud people mean, or the term mud people mean when you
It's
said
slang for the third world invasion. Have you seen any of the third world invasion in New York?
I'm not quite sure what invasion you mean.
Well, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. New York City is sinking into a swamp of third world mediocrity.
But mud, does it have a special meaning to you? This is your chance to clarify.
I'm a farm boy. I know what mud means.
Well, go on then.
Mud, the slang for, I told you, the slang for mud it's for the third world invasion of the North America.
Doesn't bother you that black racists like Mr. Coakley in Chicago say the same thing about abortion, AIDS, and so on, and Jewish doctors?
It doesn't bother me a bit. In fact,
you feel a solidarity with racists of all colors and creeds?
I am in solidarity with all racial separatists, no matter what color they are.
So you're not a supremacist? You don't think the Aryan race is superior?
It doesn't make any difference whether I do or not.
Answer the question, Mr. Metz, before it changes.
I think that the European people are the finest of nature's creation.
Yes.
However, there are people on the other side of the fence of other races who would like to argue the other way.
I have to keep asking you, are you serious?
I'm very serious. I've given my life to what I believe in, just like I think everybody should.
What have you given of your life? I mean,
I've lost jobs because of my opinions. I've, lost a lot of things.
I thought to ask you, this is our last segment, and I should have come up with it before, patriotism. You've talked about race and nation, creed, rest of it. Do you feel yourself to be, or do you claim to be patriotic?
Patriotic to my people and my ideas. I think you have to watch it because there is a false sense of patriotism in nationalism and let's go bomb the hell out of Iraq and things like that.
To be sure, and often pointed out, but if I was to mention to you the large number of white Americans, to say nothing of black, Jewish, Hispanic, and other Americans who were killed in the fight against Nazism and against a man whose birthday party you and your daddy still go to, you say they were just duped? That this was for nothing, in other words?
What did they gain? You know, let's all go down to the veteran hospitals and see how well we are treating the veterans of war. I mean, I have my opinions
on... Well, you said, oh, that was 50 years ago. There are no veterans hospitals for them. I'm asking you...
Well, there is Vietnam and Korea.
I'm asking you in principle about the white, black, brown, and other kinds, indeed Japanese Americans, who fought against the fascist and Nazi alliance, whether you're saying, for the record, that they wasted their lives or had them given away by Jews.
I think it's wrong for people to fight in a war that just strictly deals with one power of money opposing another power of money. I oppose all foreign wars. If there's any fighting, it should be within a country to get its act together, to get the economy up, to dissipate all the problems that are about, to solve all the problems.
Mr. Metzger Sr., you're usually a lot straighter than this. Are you still there?
I think he's being very straight. I would like to be very straight to the last caller who represented himself.
No, I'm sorry. I'm asking the questions. You're my guest. I'm your host. Are you saying? No, I'm sorry. You're my guest, and you'll be good enough.
To the last caller.
Well, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm sorry. I have to put you back off the air for a second, and you can complain if you will. But my question stands. If you care to answer it,
and tell them you did a good job.
I had a feeling you might say something like that. You may still, if you care to answer the question I put, the one for this segment. Do you maintain that those who were killed in the Second World War fighting against Nazism under the American flag were duped by the Jews and by international finance?
Absolutely. War is a racket.
Why
Always
can't you
has been,
get your
always will
son
be.
to talk like this?
War is a racket. Every war. Big business.
The answer to my question as phrased is absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. Again to quote from your leaflet, the white race traitor is your number one enemy.
Yes.
You go for the black Americans. You go for the Jews, the Japanese, and so on. But
They're side issues.
When it really comes to it, it's someone like myself, for example, who you look at me and you think, that's the real scum, right?
Well, no, I mean, obviously you're very low on the totem pole. I'm talking about people that command.
Well, you're very low in the
policies of
food chain if it comes to that. But I mean, the question is.
Well, I haven't been eaten up
The question
yet.
is, you know, don't you, that there are people who look extremely wimpy like myself and so on, who might shape up and would think if you ever looked like doing any of this, that we would start doing what we haven't done this evening and taking it seriously.
Well, what amazes me in New York City, for someone to tell me that everybody's equal and all this gobbledygook, to actually say that with a straight face, you've got to be insane.
Well, as you know, or perhaps as you don't know, New York City is partly dedicated to that proposition, as is the Statue of Liberty.
Our problem is the U.S. government and white people in general that have abandoned the idea of racial separatism and being proud of their race and their accomplishments. If you take the pride out of a unit,
right,
then you have no interest in surviving. And I'm trying to get that instinct back in.
If for a second we would take that as your debating position, wouldn't it have an edge that cut the other way? Doesn't hatred of others lead to hatred of yourself? In other words, you end up really detesting white people more than anyone else.
I detest people that just sell out their own people, hypocrites, beat around the bush, things like that. I mean, my concern is for the white race. I can't be concerned. Mr. Farrakhan could deal with the blacks, that's fine. Other racial leaders could deal with their own people.
So it must be very harsh for you when most of the white race thinks you're white trash.
Well, I think that's funny, and that's a misstatement, because that's not the response we're getting.